Nashville is really amazing at Christmas.
It's changed a lot.
And it's even more amazing if you're a bridesmaid.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard it's
a big bridesmaid culture.
Yeah. It's the #1 bridal bachelorette party destination in America right now.
I was like, Olivia, let's go downtown and just look at the shops. I'm like,
go to downtown Franklin. Don't go to downtown Nashville.
Everybody's in pink and cowboy hats.
It is, and they're all matching, and it's just Olivia and me. I'm like,
they're in the back of.
We're not in a wedding party.
Let me before we get started. What did you do for your bachelorette party? Did you have one?
Oh my goodness! I think no, not really. Not a party. No, I think we may have gone out to dinner, got our nails done.
So it wasn't a big deal when you got married?
Nothing.
This is a new development in the past 15
buy the bride a shot with Venmo
or just go out to like my sister-in-law is getting married and they went to Tulum. Like they did a full-blown like vacation together.
Yes, no
one was doing that when you got married?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't even remember.
Went to Chili's or Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Maybe Cheesecake Factory.
I got married in the 1900s, so we went fishing the night before my wedding.
Well, that's pretty fun. So Mike, you live in Nashville?
We do now, yes.
Oh, okay. It's beautiful up there. It's also, everybody's moving there. It's like a cool place to go.
Full.
It's full. We're done. We're all done here.
Everybody from California.
The real estate is insane in Nashville right now.
Thank you, California.
It's insane. The
Californians must hate California because they're coming here too. So
they're out fast. I have heard there's a little bit of an exodus out of Texas back to California.
Oh, people are giving up.
Once it hit 107, they're out. They're
cool. Well, we can talk about the weather. We can talk about bachelor parties. We can do all that all day. But we actually brought this guy here to talk about something specific. So, do you want to talk to Mike now and get started?
Let's get started.
Hello, and welcome to the Almost Amazing podcast from the City Rise Network. Hosted by Jennifer Dennis and produced by me, Justin Kello, we're a podcast that was supposed to be focused on parenting, but we've kind of lost the plot along the way. Honestly, we don't know what this podcast is about, but we talk to incredible people who love Jesus, and our hope is to provide encouragement and fun whenever possible. If our lack of clear direction bothers you, we apologize, but no one is making you listen to this podcast, unless you're married to Jennifer. Andy, thanks for listening.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Almost Amazing podcast. Thank you for joining us today. We're really excited because it's a really great show. I think you're going to hear some things that are really inspiring to you. And let's start with hearing from Justin.
Hello.
Our resident producer.
Yeah.
You're also an editor.
I do a little bit of editing.
Film editing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're also now a writer.
I've written, but everyone, you can't say that because I haven't published anything. But before we get started, I do want to say, if you're watching this on YouTube, can you just like this real quick because y'all aren't liking it and it's really kind of confusing to me. It's weird. It's weird that we get like 60 to 100 views on YouTube and literally not one person clicks the like button. I'm like, what are y'all watching? Like, are you hate watching this? Like, why are you like?
I'm glad there's not many like buttons.
That's true.
There is the not like button,
but I haven't got any of those. So, am I a writer? So when I told you I'd finished writing my book, you're like, you're an author now. And I don't know if that makes you an author.
I absolutely think it makes you an author.
But no one has published it. No one has read it. Like
that would make you a paid author, a published author, a renowned author.
So then what's the definition of an author? Is it someone who writes
someone
anything?
who's written something.
Okay.
Something is an author. You've written a book. That's a big deal.
But what about a paper in school? You authored a paper.
So I think that's
there's a threshold.
Sure.
Okay.
But an author, like you can say, well, in my book that I wrote.
Yes, I did finish a book. It is 42,000 words, which is like just right in the sweet spot of a nonfiction self-help book. Like apparently it's 30 to 70,000. And I was like, I'm not going to get to 70,000. Nobody needs to hear that. So I got to 42 and I felt pretty good and I stopped. That's all I had to say. But I feel like God's given me something to share. And I was like, okay, I'm going to share it and then see if I can get it printed by somebody. And I don't really know how to do that. And so I'm learning as I go. I saw a TikTok video. Thank you, TikTok. Of a publisher, of a literary agent who said, this is how you get an agent. And I was like, oh, okay. So you have to do like more work after you write the book to get someone, like, it's not just sending out your book and be like, hey, you like this? Like you have to make
copies of it.
You have to make more documents that talk about your book and you have to answer questions about your book before they even read your book. And I'm like, oh my goodness. There's a whole website called Query Tracker where you put in inquiries for like automated things to go to agents and they can deny you. And I put in 3 of those and I've gotten my first rejection. So, but every story I hear is like, you get 100 no's. Like every story of authors, first-time authors I've heard, it's not like, yeah. And then by the third one, people are like, let's do this. So I'm kind of trying to celebrate the fact that it's been declined because that means that at least someone noted, like,
someone out there,
someone pushed the button no. Like
yes, they know you wrote a book.
They looked at it, they thought, this isn't for me, no. And it's like, okay, well, at least I got their time. You know, they put in the time to look at it. So to me, a no is not the end of the world. Now, if I get to 100 no's, it may not feel as great. But I was not sad about this. It was more of like oh wow, somebody out in the real world in this industry like acknowledged that I submitted something and said, I don't want it. And that was weird. That was weirdly like affirming to me that like, oh, okay.
I totally get why you would be affirmed in that.
Yeah.
To have your first rejection letter of a book you wrote, like you never knew that like you'd be in that seat necessarily. That's pretty cool.
Yep. So that's me as I'm trying to get this book published, and I'm kind of posting on social media as a journey if you want to follow along, but it's just kind of to keep it more light and less depressing.
You know, I posted on social media.
Because you are back. You came back to TikTok just as a viewer at first.
A little bit here and there. And then I finally posted something. I did post something because I wanted to talk about these two phrases or words that I really like.
Sure.
They help. The first one is ick.
Yeah.
It gave me the ick, or they gave me the ick.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part,
or a new ick unlocked. Have you seen that on TikTok?
Yes.
It's like where someone posts a picture or a video of their significant other doing something. It's like new ick unlocked.
It's like if you're kind of liking someone and you guys are, you know, should I like them or should I not?
Yeah.
And something they do gives you the ick.
Yeah.
Pretty much after that, you have a hard time being attracted to them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's totally an ick.
Yes.
For me, I remember one of my icks were if a guy started to like me back. I'm like, oh dear.
Oh, he must be desperate. Why would he like me? Like, is that really what it is? That's wild.
No, I just felt like it was a little too easy.
Oh, okay.
I think that guys who had no dry sense of humor was kind of, I didn't like that.
You struck gold with Andy. Jeez Louise. If that's what you were looking for. Goodness
it's
gracious.
Very dry.
Wow.
Which I always liked. But I think for me, it came, I remember this one guy that I kind of liked. He was kind of cool, but he had like literally gray teeth, that his teeth were gray. And I was like, ugh, I couldn't get past it.
Yeah.
And I think there was a guy that there's something kind of weird with his hands.
Yeah. I saw a video because it's kind of a trend on TikTok of like boyfriends and girlfriends like posting these videos of like, ugh, I didn't know this about them. And it's always lighthearted. It's never something like really terrible. Significant. And so this girl was like laying on the bottom bunk and she posted a video of her boyfriend trying to get off the top bunk on the stairs. Or maybe it was her husband. They were at like some sort of like, you know, like an Airbnb where everybody's bunking up. And you could see his little toes just like slowly descending. And he's like trying to find the stairs. Like he's being so like tender and slow about it. And like so dainty. And it was just a video that she's like new ick unlocked. Like the fact that he can't confidently get down from a bunk bed.
I wish I didn't know that this was a thing.
Yeah.
So I like that because growing up, we would talk about that, but you didn't say ick. I got the ick. It would just be like, I don't know. There's something about it. It's kind of weird. So I like that there's this new language for that. The other one is pick me. And now I'm starting to totally see pick me is like another word for needy or wanting approval.
Yeah.
And I think it came out of that Grey's Anatomy scene where she's like, pick me. Choose me, love me. It's like kind of iconic if you watch Grey's. Most people haven't. And so
I wouldn't say most people haven't watched Grey's.
Good number of people
There's a pretty significking following.
But now Olivia will sometimes say, Mom, you're being so pick me. And I'm like, what? Or if she's like, oh, your hair looks good. I'm like, what? You like my hair? She's like, come on, Mom, you're being pick me.
I've never heard that.
You've never heard the phrase pick me?
Mm-hmm. That's new to me.
Yeah.
I will say, if we're talking about phrases that the young people are using, that sometimes it's clever. And you're like the ones you're talking about are really clever. Another one that I think is clever is Riz for charisma. Like, they've got Riz. Like, that's a smart, like that's charisma. That's a great shortening of a word. Like,
yeah. Yes. Considering that I'm really surprised they know what charisma means and that they shortened it.
I would say that a more large population learned the word Riz before they learned charisma of this group of children.
I would say that.
Yeah.
I like Riz. That's kind of fun. Mm-hmm. But they are coming up with these new, languages.
Everybody does. Yes. Every evolving. Generation. The only timeless vernacular is the word cool.
I was thinking the same thing. That is the
only
cool
word
always stays.
that will, I don't know what it is, but I don't know when it was invented,
but it has never been a weird word.
It
for
is
somebody to
fully
say.
timeless.
Like,
Well,
oh, that's cool.
So cool.
Oh, that's great. That's cool.
That's cool.
Like I've never heard somebody be like, oh, he shouldn't say that. Like it's timeless.
It's timeless,
But
which is perfect.
But it's definitely slang. So
well, I speaking of timeless,
you're trying.
Is that the
you're
transition
trying.
we need?
You're trying to transition.
Timeless in that God is always working.
Yes.
There.
Did
God
it.
is always working. He's always doing incredible ministry, and today is no different. And I'm so excited to be here with our guests to hear about the incredible things that God's doing in their lives. We have someone who is making great change in Haiti, and I can't wait to hear his story. Please welcome with us Mike Wilson from My Life Speaks.
Hooray.
And that is an organization that you and your family have founded in Haiti.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
We appreciate you coming. You're in town visiting
Yes.
for just a short time. Are you here? You're visiting Roger today. And
I am.
what brought you to Houston?
Well, we have an event coming up, and so I'm doing a lot of the background on that. Just seeing people, talking, making sure that everybody's ready for what we're getting ready to do.
Now, have you lived in the Houston area? Or
No.
So you're like really new to Houston.
Right.
How long
right.
are you in town?
I flew in on Monday and fly out tomorrow, so Thursday.
Okay. Will you be able to experience some good fajitas when you're in town? If
Already have.
Where did you go?
Where'd I go? Memphis.
Oh, well,
Those
they
are
claim
two
to
of the original.
They claim to have
That's what they
invented. They say they invented fajitas. I don't know how true that is.
Yes.
That is a pretty big claim.
Yeah.
So were they delicious?
Always.
Yeah.
They're,
Yes.
I mean, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad at least you've had some really good Tex-Mex or
Yes.
Mexican while you were in town. So your family, which I was reading up on today,
Okay.
you guys have had an incredible journey. Will you tell us a little bit about the organization you've started and what led to that?
I sure will. So first of all, thank you again for letting me be a part of this. Our organization is called My Life Speaks because I would jokingly say God has a sense of humor, but the long story short is in 1997, we had our second son born, and his name is Lane. And out of a 40-week pregnancy, Lane was born at 23 weeks and 5 days. So he was a super preemie. And in 1997, kids like that did not survive. And he survived. And he had some complications that we didn't know about until probably 2 or 3 months into his birth. And what we realized is he had a stroke, a grade 4 intraventricular hemorrhage that destroyed the right side of his brain. It actually pushed the midline over. And from that, he developed cerebral palsy. But because he was on oxygen for 4 months in the neonatal intensive care unit, he went blind. So learned a lot of things about the way the human body works. But Lane came home, and we thought he would be medically fragile for his entire life. They told us things like, he's blind, so he will not like loud noises. He won't like to be scared. He won't like to be startled. He won't like sudden movements. And because of his cerebral palsy, he'll probably never communicate with you. In fact, we had a neurosurgeon that looked at us one time and said, oh, he's a vegetable. Sorry. Now,
Oh, wow.
fast forward to 25-year-old Lane, who loves to be scared. He loves to ride roller coasters. He loves to, obviously he's in a wheelchair, but we roll him up. I pick him up, put him
Wow.
on a roller coaster, and he absolutely loves it. So huge personality, huge part of who he is that has, because of his life, has transformed our family. I tell people, I don't go looking for individuals with special needs. I just find them. So we're very in tune. And when I say that, I mean, we're very aware of individuals with special needs in our midst. And so what we've learned by having a son who's been in a wheelchair for his entire life is we're not afraid by the wheels of other chairs. And so one of my favorite stories is my older son is 2 years older. His name's Dylan. And my younger son is 1.5 or 2 years younger. His name is Eli. And a lady, I used to work at a church, and a lady in a wheelchair rolled up to me and kind of grabbed me on my pants leg and said, hey, can I ask you a question? Yes, ma'am. She said, are those 2 boys yours? And as a dad who works on a church staff, that's the last thing you want to hear. And she said, I said, yes, ma'am, they are. What do they do?
Right.
And she had tears in her eyes. And she said, those 2 boys just treated me like a person. They didn't look at my chair. They didn't stare. They came up, they talked to me. They asked me how I was doing. And she said, why are they like that? And so we pointed down the hall to our son Lane in his wheelchair. And from that moment, it's been very obvious to us that God put Lane in our family to tenderize our hearts so that we could see things but he's also tenderized everyone in our family, our kids. We have also now have adopted 3 children from the country of Haiti. They've grown up with Lane as a brother. He's not super vocal. He's not super mobile, but he has a personality, and every one of our kids has seen that. And so in 2012, my wife and I decided that we felt like we really needed to help people like Lane in the country of Haiti. And so in January of 2012, we launched. It started early 2011, but it honestly started because my wife woke up one day and woke me up and said, "Hey, God spoke to me in a dream, and I need to tell you what we're going to do for the rest of our life."
Wow.
So
That's so powerful. So tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing in Haiti.
yeah, glad to. So we heard the story after the earthquake that happened in Haiti in 2010. We heard that there were hundreds of thousands of kids that are orphaned and they needed help. And so we said, we've got to do something. Well, fast forward to today, that number is greatly exaggerated. It's really closer to 30,000 kids that live in orphanages. But what we found out was a lot of kids are in orphanages because they're poor, and it's a poverty orphan. 80% of the kids growing up in an orphanage in Haiti have a living parent or family member within 4 miles of where they are that can take care of them. And there's an organization called Lumos that did this huge study that's really helped people like us learn not only what's going on, but how to best combat that. So we went to Haiti in 2012 with the idea of, we will take kids who've been orphaned or abandoned. We will place them with Haitian families that will raise them as their own. If they have special needs, if they're typically developing, it does not matter. They will join a family. And so it looks like a foster care situation, if you will. Unfortunately, Haiti does not have the ability to create or care for a foster care setting, family-based care. And so many times they turn to organizations like us and say, "Hey, you do it." In fact, we've had some meetings to try to hand this off a couple of times to the Haitian government, and they've just said, we can't do this. And so we actually work with other nonprofits just like ourselves to make sure that kids don't wind up in an orphanage, that they can go to a family. Because there's a study that's recently been done within the last 5 years, and a group of people came to Haiti and did what they call brain mapping on kids that live in an orphanage. They did it on kids who live in a nuclear family, and they did it on kids who live in a foster family. And what they found out is the kids who are living in an orphanage, an institution, their brains map the same as a soldier who comes back with severe PTSD.
Oh, man.
They're fighting for everything. They're having to create this big loud nuisance so that they get attention and they get what they need. But kids who grow up in a nuclear family and kids growing up in foster care in Haiti, they are mapping on the same exact level. So we see the benefits of a child growing up in a family. And here's the beautiful part of it. You don't age out of a family. So that was our springboard into Haiti. And from that, we've decided we will fight for families, whatever we can do. And so that led us to create an educational initiative called Life Academy, where we have general and special ed kids together on the same campus. To our knowledge, it's the only place like it in our region for sure, maybe in the country of Haiti, but Haiti doesn't have a lot of great reporting on the educational system. So we have kids going to school together. So general ed kids and special ed kids are seeing each other, knowing each other, being able to communicate. And my favorite story of that was a 5-year-old girl left kindergarten class one day and went up to a group of teenage boys and said, "Don't you make fun of my friend anymore."
Oh, man.
And it was unbelievable because this child in a wheelchair, he's ostracized. Well, now we have kids in wheelchairs going to general education classrooms because the only thing's wrong is their legs don't work. So that's not a reason for a child to be discarded. And then we also added a public health initiative where we have a clinic, physical occupational therapy, and we do some feeding assistance. And we define public health completely wrong. We say whatever we can do to get and keep people healthy, that's what we do. So we launched in 2012, and today we've got a group of 12 Haitian directors that oversee everything we do in our community. And as we go out, just last month, we had over almost 500 visits in our clinic. We had almost 500 visits in our therapy center as well. So, I mean, it's people coming from all over to take care of themselves. And we love it because it's an opportunity for us to meet a physical need. which gives us the chance to share the gospel. And so every time somebody comes, they hear the gospel. They get prayed over. If they're coming twice in a week because they've got medicine they need to get, we're praying over them every time. If they've made a decision, our goal is nothing more than we want to tell them everything that we know and teach them to follow Christ. That's it. It's discipleship at its core, and it's all being led by Haitians now, and it's beautiful.
That is beautiful. Man, that's incredible work. I love that.
That's the longest elevator speech in the history.
That was
we went to the top of the Empire State
tall
Building.
buildings around here,
So then what are you doing in Houston? So what's happening? What brings you to our neck of the woods? What's going on?
Well, I have some really great friends here. Got to meet some really cool people over the last few years. And we are hosting an event here in Houston with former baseball player, a guy named Tim Tebow. Played a little football along the way, but he's really known for baseball.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
yes.
We're ministry partners with the Tebow Foundation, and they've helped us do some amazing things and help take care of kids. In fact, we host Night to Shine Prom, which is a prom for kids with special needs in the country of Haiti. And so we've done that now for 5 years. And our director, she's actually trained other organizations in Haiti to host it. So we got multiples now. And so Tim's become a friend of ours over the last few years, a very dear friend. And so we'll be down at the Wortham Center and having an event where he'll speak. And I'm here now just meeting with people, telling them about what we're doing.
Okay. So this Houston event is to get the word out about your ministry. Like Tebow is the guest for your ministry. Though.
Yes,
he's not for Night to Shine.
Right. He's our keynote speaker. He's talking about our theme for the night is empowerment. That's a big thing for us. We want to empower our Haitian leaders to be great leaders. And when you empower someone, you give them the opportunity to truly transform their own community. And so he'll come alongside, he'll share some of the things he's learned alongside us, some of the things he's seen personally when he's been to Haiti with us. And I'm sure he'll tell some stories as well.
Is this your first reach into Houston for your ministry, or is this a new field for you?
No, we did this similar event in 2019. That was eons ago, before that thing called COVID.
Sure.
Right.
Back in the day.
Back when you could meet together. Yeah, we did that.
Okay. So if someone wants to be a part of that or learn more about that.
Oh, yeah. Our website's real simple. It's mylifespeaks.com. We've got an events tab on there. They can click that, and we would be honored for them to be a part of that. We got tickets available. So come on.
Well, tell me this. Do you know why Tim Tebow has this heart for special needs? How did y'all come together? What was that?
So his heart it's an amazing story, and I don't do it justice, but I think the young man's name was Sherman.
Well, you can get him on the show and he can tell
That's right.
Oh, yeah. You know what? If he's got a minute.
Well, it's on video now. People can think it's I'm
in.
home. So a much bigger version. But now he, as a kid, he grew up in the Philippines, or his family was part of ministry in the Philippines. And he saw a little boy whose legs were truly on backwards. His knees bent the wrong way. He was really ostracized. And as a young high school student, Tim saw him and he's like, I love this kid. We got to help. That led to his passion for individuals with special needs, and we have to help them. And so that's kind of where that jumped off from and where it began. And so, that's.
And your connection is you saw the event, you wanted to host it, and that's how it got.
Well, we applied to host it just completely randomly, but the Tebow Foundation was beginning some partnerships in the country of Haiti, and we wound up at a meeting. And I thought we were going to get kicked out because my wife spoke very strongly and passionately about do not talk about individuals with special needs the way you just talked about them. And because of that, honestly, I thought I'll never get to meet Tim Tebow now. This is great.
A lot.
Yeah.
But in fact, it was the exact opposite. Became really good friends with their ministry. And they said, we need people like you who care about this group of people, and we need to know how to best operate in that.
I love that in your story, the way that your children are able to interact with people with special needs. It's about teaching and showing and leading. It's not, it's something that everyone can do in their families and their lives. And I think sometimes we get stressed out and nervous about saying the wrong thing or not being able to do it right or correctly. And so a lot of times we just shut down or quiet down.
Absolutely.
And it forms a barrier. People with special needs can feel that. They can feel that. Yes. And I think it's powerful to live in that, to where it's not restrictive and it's a part of their lives. Kids are really resilient and they're really flexible and they're really great about playing with anyone. Yes. And so I think it's our society or our culture that comes in and teaches them that it's hard.
Well,
or
so to your point, the young man that transitioned from our special education class to our general education class, his name's Isaac. Isaac has spina bifida. He rides in a wheelchair. At PE, the kids fight over who gets to push him in the wheelchair. There's no way that would happen on a playground in America. I mean, it's so unsafe. Kids are running as fast as they can, but he's a part of the community. He's a part of that. And to your point, we teach our kids all the time, don't stare, don't talk.
right.
And there's something about a childlike faith. I think Jesus may have mentioned that. I don't know.
Mhm.
You never know.
But there's something about a childlike faith of, well, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with him? And when a kid or a child or a young person asks us, hey, what's wrong with him? We'll get down on a knee, eye level with them and say, hey, he was born a little different and he can't walk, but he can hear you. You want to give him 5? And when that child touches our son or when that child touches someone else, it's so amazingly beautiful because then the parents are like, I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry.
Mhm.
This is the greatest thing. You're treating my son like a child, like a person. So
So let me ask this from a practical standpoint for someone who is listening to this and they're like, they have encountered people with special needs, but they still don't know how to guide their children through it.
yes,
What are 1 or 2 things you'd say, hey, this is the basics. This is what you would do. This is what's blessed your family in particular.
Absolutely.
Like, how would you counsel a parent to walk with their kids? through
first
that?
off, that's a great question. And I really do appreciate that because that means a lot. As a parent, you see the stairs. You're aware of that. You know, I mean, you can't hide the big wheelchairs that especially our son rides in. And to have a conversation or ask the question, a child just tears down all defenses when they come up and it's just innocent.
Mhm.
Hey, what's wrong?
Mhm.
Our own son, Eli, when he found out his brother was blind, he was about 4 years old. And it's not like we waited till he was 4 to tell him, but when he really, truly comprehended it, he wept. I mean, oh my gosh, it's still to this day, it just gets me because he was so upset, but it didn't change. It's his brother, you know? And so when a child does it, so as for a parent, what I would say is let your child be a child. Let them explore, let them ask those questions. And 2, if you're comfortable with it, walk with your child over there.
Mhm.
Look the child in the eyes, look the parents in the eyes.
Mhm.
I'll tell you, working on church staffs, being a part of things, the hardest thing, and there's a stat that came out years ago, and it's just so devastating. 95% of individuals with special needs, their family doesn't go to church.
Mhm.
Or if they do, one family member goes 1 week, one goes another. It's the most difficult group.
It's really hard for them to get to church.
And what happens is when one person feels welcome, it's like the dam breaks and everybody comes, and it's scary because
Yeah.
when you have people with special needs that yell or drool, or like our son, we sit in the back of our worship center at church. I mean, if he gets bored in service, he'll yawn.
Yeah, Jennifer too. She does that all the time.
yeah,
so-
it's the whole thing.
So that's it. So
Well, I love what you said about letting your kid be curious because our inclination is like, no, don't ask. Like
Yes.
we hear like, please
Yeah.
don't,
Sure,
don't bring it
yes.
up. Like don't talk about it. And
ignore
for-
it, it'll go away.
for you to say, and I'm sure parents will cue you if they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But like this idea of just letting your kid lead the way and asking those questions
Absolutely.
is really significant and helpful. And then as far as your ministry goes, what are ways you would see people here in the States getting involved and plugged in? Like what is helpful?
So first and foremost, and I don't say this lightly, is we are desperate for prayer partners.
Mhm.
And here's why. We believe with all of our heart that prayer is not just communicating with God, but it bends his ear. That we have the opportunity to talk to not only the Creator, but someone who gave his son for us, that we can have relationship with him, to go to him cleanly without going through the steps of the Old Testament. We can go in front of our God. And so when they pray, we're asking people to pray for our community, our ministry, the kids, the families, everybody, because that truly moves. Again, I believe it bends God's ear.
Mhm.
And so that's number one. We'd love for them to get to know us. We'd love, ask questions. We got contact stuff on our website. My email's out there. If you can't find it, it's mike@mylifespeaks.com. I don't hide it. I mean, I want people to know us. I want them to be a part of that. And then, follow that. If God leads you in that way, join us, be a part of things. Just like this event, it's huge. We every day, we work with a group of people that are making a choice to follow Christ. And in Houston, it's difficult because culture's not always bent that way. where we are in Haiti, it's a voodoo culture that says those kids, those people, you are worthless. And so what we're saying is, no, there's something we're going to stand for.
That's
Can you
great.
describe that voodoo culture a little bit? Like for those of us who are not familiar with Haiti,
Yeah.
like what is the impact of that?
So real quick, I'd say it's not the Princess and the Frog Disney version of voodoo. It is,
Well, that's disappointing.
well, it's truly opening up your heart, your soul, your life to an evil, an
Wow.
evil spirit. It's freely asking those spirits to come in. It's the exact opposite of Scripture. Where Scripture tells us to get those out and clean up and not let them come back. Voodoo is all about the exact opposite, and it allows this evil to come, and it's what's permeating so many people. But when you see the light come on for somebody's eyes, I've had so many conversations with people of I'll follow Christ when my grandma dies, or I'll follow when my grandfather or my mom or my dad, because voodoo is so entrenched in their family. I do not know a single person in our community that does not have a one-on-one personal experience with voodoo. Doesn't mean they've trusted it.
Wow.
But it's real. Our local city is where the voodoo seminary is. I mean, it's real. It's
Good.
people give their lives to this, and it goes all the way back to the slave days of, Haitian slaves were treated so horrifically that when they were given opportunities to convert, they didn't want anything to do with that. So that's
Wow.
That's awful.
my little soapbox. Sorry, I'll come off.
Thanks.
on that.
No, that's enlightening. I didn't
Man.
know. Yeah.
Boy, thank you so much for coming and sharing. This
Are
is
you kidding? This is
just
awesome.
amazing. I just love this ministry and what you're doing for
Well, thank
children. And thank you so much. We do have one final question.
I love it.
And I think it's one we've used in the past, but I always like it. Tell us a song that you had at your wedding, and would you choose that again?
And we'll answer first. You can
okay.
take some time
We'll
to
go
think about
first.
it.
I'll go first. One song that we had at our wedding that I would not have again.
Wait, so the question is a song we wouldn't or a song we would?
A song that you did have at your wedding
That you
Okay.
don't
that
want?
you chose
But it can
for
be
your wedding,
either keep it or
but you would you or would you not have it
Oh, okay,
again?
okay.
You can
So it
choose.
can go
cash
either
it or
way.
trash it.
We can
You
go,
can go
yeah,
either-
we can go
yes.
positive or negative. Great.
I chose a song, and I don't think my husband had ever heard it. He did not. He was not in the process of this. And it was this song by Garth Brooks, "To Make You Feel My Love." And in retrospect, it sounds a little stalkery when I listen to it.
Yeah.
There's even a point of the song where it says, "I know you haven't made your mind up yet,"
Wow.
which I think is really weird
For a wedding.
for a wedding where you're literally there because you made your mind up
Yeah.
already.
Okay.
So I think I would probably,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that one.
Listen, I'm going to be real vulnerable here, and I'm going to say a song that I love. I've always loved. I will always love, and I'm so glad we played it because it is a crowd pleaser. It is my go-to song for karaoke. It is.
This is your wedding song?
Not my wedding song. You said a song played at our wedding.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I'm not. Sorry, you talking about the specific dance?
Within the, no, I mean
You're
like
talking about
in
within
your
the
wedding
ceremony.
Oh, I'm talking about
ceremony.
reception.
No, my goodness,
No,
not
in the
that.
wedding, I love
In
the
the
songs we
wedding.
chose. Yeah, they were great. So we
That's great.
actually did a worship set. So I looked at our marriage as like the sermon, and so we did a worship set before the sermon of us getting married, and so we had a worship band lead worship for 3 songs.
That's fantastic.
One of them was "Come Thou Fount," and then "Here for You" was the idea.
Stephen Curtis Chapman.
No,
Is that the "I Will Be Here"?
It's the passion.
Be careful.
We are here for
I will be
you.
here.
Like we are here for you.
Oh, yes.
We are
Okay.
here for you. Like because
Yes.
we're here for God. And I was like,
Yes.
in a wedding, it's so we're here for the wedding people. I'm like, no, we're here for God. And so that was how we opened our worship set. Was
Cool.
everybody singing?
So you'd
we're
stick with
here for
it
God.
and you did some worship. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But for those wondering, the song at the reception is "Say My Name."
Say my name. And that's your still
Yeah,
karaoke
yeah,
go-to.
yeah.
There you
Wow.
go.
So we had one song at our wedding. It was "I Will Be Here" by Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Yes.
And you know, it's really funny. About 10 years ago, I met Stephen Curtis Chapman, and we were on a plane
Oh,
together.
my goodness.
We were on a plane together, and after it was over with, I wound up talking to him. And when we adopted, his organization had given us a grant. He had no clue who I was. I'm some random stalker. And I'm like, "You sang at my wedding. You just didn't know it." He's like, "That's the first time I've heard that."
Wow.
But yeah.
I was like, every
Yeah.
wedding we went to.
Oh, I
during
got
that
married back in the
span,
1900s. Like, yeah, it
Oof.
was. Oh, you had to have that song.
You had to have that song, or
You
you
weren't.
weren't actual like Christian
No,
people getting married.
that's exactly right. That
Wow.
the Canon, whatever,
Canon
the
D.
Canon D,
Yeah,
and the Lord's Prayer. We had that same.
We had the Lord's Prayer. We had Canon D.
yeah,
Wow.
and it was like operatic.
Our leaving song Oh, yeah. There you go. Our leaving song was Beautiful Day by U2. It's a beautiful day.
That's great.
That was pretty appropriate.
I was married in a very Baptist church, and I have we weren't allowed to have any music whatsoever outside of approved church
you mean in the
music.
fellowship hall?
Oh,
Yeah.
no. We couldn't turn the Coke machine off either, so we just covered it with a tablecloth.
Wow.
That's back when people
Turn
got
the
married in
Coke
churches, though, you know?
Wow.
I
Is
haven't
that
been
when
to a
the
church.
fellowship hall is like you go down the stairs into the fellowship
Where
hall?
else would it be? Hello?
Yeah.
Come on. It's like a
Yeah.
bomb shelter also.
Oh, man. It's so true. Some of them were bomb shelters.
Yeah.
Did you
So
eat at your wedding? Like at the
Did I what?
reception? Did you get to eat at your reception?
I'm
asking
I think
the
they
questions
packed
now.
it up. I do remember that it
You gotta
was
be pretty quick. Yeah.
I do remember we ended up in a hotel room watching a Cowboys game, ordering pizza at some point.
Wow.
Which I should still be mad about.
Probably.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
All right. Well, I did not mean to tell that on the podcast.
Wow,
I'm sure you
very-
can cut that out.
I won't. You know I won't.
The magic of it.
Absolutely will
Man,
not.
Mike, thanks so much for
Thank y'all
visiting with
very
us.
much. I
And
really
Justin, why
appreciate
don't you tell us how to find
Yeah,
out?
so we're gonna first of all link Mike's organization
Thank you.
in the notes on YouTube or on our podcast apps. We'd love for you to check that out for the event coming up on October 17th. You can check that out if you're listening before that time and find more information about that. If you enjoyed this, please share it, like it, send it to somebody. We'd love for you to get the word out about the ministry that's going on in Haiti through this organization. And if you always have ideas for people we can talk to, you can email us at podcast@cityrise.org.
All right. Thanks so much. Thank you, guys. We hope you've had an almost amazing time on the Almost Amazing Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Almost Amazing Podcast from the City Rise Network, based in Houston, Texas. City Rise is a partnership of church campuses, nonprofits, and missionaries devoted to lifting our city and the world by generously giving the gospel of Jesus Christ. For more information or to find a church campus close to you in the Houston area, visit cityrise.org.